Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, A Little Bit Gorgeous. I'm Jennifer, and today I'd like to show you how I make one of the little pockets that I use for journal ephemera. It's basically a loaded pocket, but it's got some extra storage spaces as well. So on the front there are two pockets, and then there's a tuck on the side, and it's open at the top as well. So there's lots of places that you can put ephemera in there. So this is what we're going to make today. So what you need is one sheet of paper, and I'm using A4, but it really doesn't matter. You can use letter size as well. So I've already trimmed the white borders off because I don't print borderless. So I've done that already, and I printed it double-sided because you are going to see the back, at least to a certain extent. If you can't print double-sided, or if you're using single-sided paper, then that doesn't really matter. You'll just need a little bit extra to cover up the back. As well as that full sheet, you'll also need just a little bit of a scrap, roughly 4.5 by maybe 2.5, depending on the size of one of the pockets. So your extra piece of paper forms this pocket at the back, and the bottom of your main piece of paper forms the bottom pocket there. So this is what we're going to do. Because I like this edge here to be fairly sturdy, I fold this edge back. So before I do anything else, I'll just score that maybe about 1 centimetre, which is maybe 3/8 of an inch. Bear in mind that however much you fold over here forms the gusset to this little pocket. Probably can't see that inside, but just to give yourself a little bit more room to put things in, this bottom pocket, in fact both of those two pockets there are gusseted on the side, so that space there forms this gusset. So that's about 1 centimetre. As I said, about 3/8 of an inch is probably enough. So that's how much I'm going to score on the side. And I'll fold that over. But I'm not going to do anything to glue that down just yet. So that will be our right hand edge. What I also need to do is to fold up about 1.5 inches, perhaps. I work in inches, even though I'm in Australia. I'm supposed to use centimetres, but I do work in inches. So 1.5 inches is a little bit under 4 centimetres, perhaps. And fold that up. So that means that our finished pocket will be about 6.5 inches high. So with my trimmed A4 piece of paper, once the edges come off, I've got 8 inches by about 11.5. So folding up 1.5 inches gives us about 6.5 for the height. That's about how big it'll be. And fold it. Now I want to fold this roughly into thirds. So the easiest way to do it is just curve it around until it feels like it's about in the right spot. So I want this edge here to come in a little bit from that edge. So give it a bit of a curl until it feels like it's in about the right place. Doesn't matter if this edge here doesn't go all the way to the fold, but you'll want it to go mostly to the fold. So about there, I think would do. See if I score, hold that there. And then fold this one over. Probably hard to see those folds there. So this section on the front will fold up, but I don't need the rest. So I'm going to cut that section off there. But what I want is, now I formed a little flap there to make a gusset on that side. I want a little flap on this side here to make a gusset on the other side. So I'm going to cut about the same distance, about 1 centimetre up inside that score line there. And I'll just go up to the fold. So that will be the front. I don't need this bit here. So I'm going to cut that off. Where's my knife? So I don't need that. Just miter the corners a little bit. That can come off there as well. So there's our sheet of paper. So this will go up. These little flaps will fold back in, and it will sit there. So now I can glue my reinforcing flap down. Once again, just take a little bit off there. So this is where we've got so far. Sometimes I collage this pocket, sometimes I don't. What I probably will do this time is just to put some lace on it. So I might just ink the top. I don't really need to do anything else to it, just to take the white edge off. But before I glue anything down, I want another pocket to sit in behind it. So this piece of paper is just a bit of leftover, and I just thought that that green went nicely with the pattern. So I want, once again, some little gussets on the side. So it needs to be wider than this point here. So that's about a good length. And it needs to be as high as will just rise above the bottom pocket a little bit. So that's probably, I think, a good height. So I need to score it at this point here. Just mark that. That's what fingernails are for. doesn't need a gusset at the bottom because it's covered by the top pocket there. So that's where it's going to sit. I might pull it over a little bit. So that one needs to be scored at about that point there. Do it properly, Jennifer. And then I need to score it on the other side as well. So if I lay that on top, I know just exactly how wide it needs to be. So that's going to sit in there underneath. So if I just now, I think I would like to finish that edge, so I will just ink it a little bit first. I quite like having some torn edges as well as some straight edges. Just adds a little bit of interest. And then I'll use my paste. Will sit under there. So I'm going to glue this one down. Actually, before I do that, I might glue my base together. So I'll do the bottom first. So this top flap gets glued down over the top. I want to maximize the width of that top pocket. So I'm going to glue along here, but I don't want to glue in there. So if I do that end first and then this side and the bottom, so we've got a tuck in there and a tuck in there. So pocket number 2, let's put that in. And now I can glue the top pocket down over the top of it. So both of these pockets have gussets, which means that there's just that little bit more room for you to put something in. Probably best not to pull it up until the glue dries. Your choice as to whether you want to do something on the edges. I probably won't at this point here, but I will put my lace on. The right way up. Yes. So that really is all that it needs. So we've got 2 pockets on the front, tuck on there, and a tuck in the top. And then it's just ready for filling with ephemera. There's really not much point in putting any other decoration on there because you're not going to see that anyway. Where is my ephemera? Here we go. So here's some I prepared earlier. So I have some papers, just journaling papers, that I tend to put in that little pocket on the side. And then I'll fill the rest. Oh, what these here? With just little journal cards, writing paper, and then I'd put some embossed papers in the back. In there. So that's it. Quite simple to make. 1 sheet of A4 paper, 1 extra piece for the pocket at the back, and however you want to embellish it. It's quite easy to make. So thank you for looking. Bye.